don't have that kind of turning radius in your truck. Nice. Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're in the shop again working on the trailer for the bridge build. Last week, if you missed it, we put in these old bed frames and we were doing our best to straighten out this trailer. In that video we talked about, I think this thing was in an accident, which is probably why there's no longer an RV or camper body on this. And so we were able to actually get these I-beams square. They're not square, but they were off about 1.5 inches. So we've got those pulled back into place. And when we were finishing that video, we talked about 2 areas of concern when we were removing some of the original manufacturer's RV amenities, if you will, whatever components, you know, were likely for plumbing for the black water tank or the gray water tank or some type of awning. There are some larger holes in the I-beams. I'll show you those. And so we've cut, with the plasma cutter, we've cut some large plates. There's one that needs to go here and one that needs to go up front. We're gonna put those in so that these I-beams won't have any compromise where there's some larger holes cut out. The other thing that I'm gonna be working on right now, and you can already see I've started it, I've got my handy dandy ratchet strap, do it all strap. I'll get you a closer shot, I promise. But this I-beam right here is just part of that accident. I'm assuming it's an accident, I don't know. That I-beam is it's just cocked over a little bit. And I'm not an expert, I'm not an engineer, but I do know that these I-beams, they're obviously strongest when they're perfectly up and down. And they become weak when they get a little roll and they can get a little twist in it. And so we have a twist. Part of that twist we're gonna strengthen with this plate. The other part of that twist, I'm gonna actually try to pull the bottom of this I-beam over as far as I can. And then we're gonna put this square tubing in it, welded on each side. And then that should prevent that I-beam from ever being able to twist further when it gets under load. So let's do that now. All right, take it easy. I see it. It's a booger weld, but it'll hold just fine. Don't you worry. It's really hard for me to even tell how much that got pulled in. You know, maybe actually by the time I look at the camera the same way you guys are, I'll see whether I was able to adjust it much. I'm just working with these small ratchet straps. But it doesn't matter. In the end, with that welded in place, that I-beam is going to have a much harder time twisting inward or outward. So it's still an improvement and will still help that area that's compromised. The next step will be just welding this plate that we cut right here, almost like a box tube. And that little section will actually become stronger than probably any other part of the I-beam. If there are any professional welders, experienced welders, or even engineers that are watching this, I do have a serious question. So this is an I-beam. I put a 1/4 inch plate on the outside, and the idea was to strengthen where those holes were. So I've kind of created a C channel in one section, kind of a box tube in one section. Does this in any way make it weaker? I mean, I can't imagine it would, but the more and more I racked my brain on this, I started to convince myself that somehow by strengthening this one section, I was going to take the load shared in this section and send it down the I-beam to another section that's not as reinforced. And I started to drive myself crazy, but ultimately I rested in the idea that it has to be stronger than it was without the plate. So I would really welcome any thoughts or comments on this.
I also fully welded the bottom of the plate to the trailer. I just didn't show it because the camera angle really wasn't that good. There wasn't much for you to see, and I have a second plate that I did further up towards the front of this trailer, and I didn't show that just because, well, it's a duplicate of what you're seeing here.
Guys, I'm really excited because I've already found a use for my trailer hitch that I welded up. Or I should say my trailer hitch plate. I have brought the RV trailer home, as you can see, and I need that because I have more power here at my house than I do at my brother's house. And closer I can get the tongue of that trailer into this garage, the better. Clearly I couldn't pull a truck in here. Well, you can pull a car in a garage, but you can't in mine because, well, what I have in here. Now this trailer won't be much of a test for tongue weight because the axle that we removed in the back caused the forward axle to basically be dead center in this trailer. You'll see in a minute. I can actually pick this thing up without much effort. So no test of tongue weight, but test of practicality and utility. Actually, I wonder if I can just scoop this up. Let's see. Oh, guys, you gotta love that. Come on now. Now that's a great reason why you make one of these. Don't have that kind of turning radius in your truck. Okay, now we still want to disconnect this from the machine because any type of welding or plasma cutting, you know, you're basically effectively that's like when somebody says their whole entire life. If you do that, don't do that. It's just your whole life or it's your entire life. I shouldn't be correcting anybody on grammar. I'm definitely, okay, I take that back because you guys are gonna hammer me. Spend enough time on this channel. I got all kinds of grammar mistakes. I'm a public school kid. Anyway, we're still gonna disconnect it from the machine because since we're gonna be doing plasma cutting, we're effectively shorting the metal and we don't want that charge to run through the ball and into the machine. I could disconnect geez, get it out, dude. I could disconnect the ground lead from the battery and that would be fine. I could probably even just satisfy that with cutting the battery switch off, but setting it on jacks and disconnecting it manually is really the sure thing, and in many ways just far less trouble. Actually, I could probably just lower it without even starting it. Sweet. Guys, I have plenty of this RV core, which I use for my welder, to get myself way out from the house, but the wind is just whipping today. Really, it makes it a very comfortable day to be outside in this warm weather. But that type of wind is not good for any type of welding, and I'm not an expert in plasma, but I can't imagine it's good for plasma either. Although there's probably enough pressure coming out of that gun that it wouldn't matter. So either way, we're gonna do it in a controlled environment, at least the best we can. Well, everybody's having some fun today. All of this triangular section here of the tongue, the battery cage here, the propane holder, none of this does us any good for the bridge build. We are gonna need at least the ball mount portion to get this thing back to my brother-in-law's house, but the rest of this box steel here is good, usable steel that we're actually gonna use on this build, but I need to get it off here first. So we're just hacking away here. We're gonna go as fast as we can. I'm not worried about it looking pretty. You're never gonna see all of this in the bridge build. So let's see this $99 plasma cutter pay for itself in a hurry. It helps when you hook up the air. Wow, they're super muddy, dude. Uh-oh. Nice. Noise. I think it's getting jammed up on the worm gear in there, which is why I didn't plasma cut it. I knew I wouldn't be able to get into that worm gear. There we go. Man, as much as I just want to cut these off, they are salvageable. They're always good for something. They're not rusty, so let's take the extra steps to keep them. Come on now, you gotta love having that. Imagine doing that with a floor jack. This is so much easier. These are 16 millimeter. 16 is kind of like the 9, right? Who actually uses it? this one has some rust on it. Bet you that one's gonna be hot now. These are for the load distribution hitch. Some decent steel there. It's such a funky shape. Probably not worth keeping. Although, these I think you can keep. Look at that. I mean, you know that's some serious metal. Very strong. It's already got a curve built into it. I'm thinking. Either I'm thinking or the hoarder side of me is kicking in. All right, let's get this stuff cleaned up a little bit. A little bird's nest or something fell out of here and just looks like something I could light on fire with the plasma cutter. Oh. Okay guys, keeping with the budget build, we're gonna take this tongue that we've cut off, cut them into 12-inch sections so that we can add some more wings. You see these, I'm calling these wings. We've got some gaps here where they're just a little far apart for our liking. We're gonna take this steel, we have it, cut it into 1-foot sections, weld them on as additional wings. That'll give that outer piece of wood on the bridge extra support. There's always a way to do this with better precision, and I admit I'm just kind of going fast, but that's not too bad. I can work with that. And when we put it on, when we weld it, we'll be able to fill those gaps and grind down any high spots. So if you're seeing me start and stop like that, it's because I've got this helmet on cut function, but I think from the sunlight coming in, it keeps blacking out on me. So when you see me stop, I'm blind, and I'm trying not to get off my line too much. So what do you guys use? Tell me, I mean, is there a special pair of glasses I can buy that's good enough for this? Guys, I'm just new. I just don't know a lot about plasma. I'm far from an expert welder, but I've done more of that. So help me out. Appreciate any comments below. Tell me what you guys use.
Okay guys, we're back here in the editing room, and once again I forgot to film an outro, and actually I don't know that it's so much that I forgot. So you saw me welding on this wing right here, as I called it. It was a 12-inch cutout of the tongue. Basically everywhere there's a gap here, you see here, 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 up here, 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 all the way down. I think there may have been 5 or 6 on each side, so quite a few. So we were able to get a lot of material out of that tongue. But those have all since been welded on. I just lost the video, I guess. I could have sworn I videoed that, but it doesn't matter. You saw that one. It was basically all the same. After I welded those, I put a coat of paint on the trailer just to cover up some of this surface rust, to give it another layer of protection. So we're wrapping up here. On the next video, we're going to be diving into the wood joists that need to go in here, and we're actually going to get this thing put in place. Now, we still have to set the piers, fill them with concrete, put rebar in them, but I think we're going to be able to do all of that in the next video. So pretty excited. If this is the first time you've seen any part of the bridge project, look down in the description. There'll be a link to our playlist, and you can catch all the earlier parts of the series and those to follow after this. I appreciate you guys checking it out. I hope you're liking this. This has been a lot of fun for us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you get the next one. And I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good night. See ya.